What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today, we're going to be going ahead and breaking down Clash Soba Mask, which on paper you may think is a relatively difficult Clash event. However, there are a lot of really I would say easily accessible characters that you can use in order to get through this raid without too much difficulty. The really cool thing is obviously because of the whole Dex super typing coming out, and predominantly both of those super types have damaging based specials, meaning normal attacks only is not going to be quite prevalent within this month of content. And interestingly enough, also being, a Dex unit that doesn't really like normal attacks only, Legend Kaido is going to be a phenomenal character in this fight. So anyways, before we get into the breakdown of the dungeon, let's go ahead and talk about this guy right here, the brand new Clash event that everyone's going to be farming right now, which is Soba Mask. So Soba Mask is a Dex powerhouse free spirit, so same class combinations as his Sugo Fest exclusive, obviously with a different color. His captain effect is a 3x attack boost, and then also, 3x attack boost for Dex characters, that is, and then makes tandem slots matching for those characters as well. Not an amazing captain effect, but it's acceptable, I would say. And then his special ability, which does require quite a lot of skill ups, but it is double skill up right now, so it's the perfect opportunity to max him. But his special on a 26 turn cooldown, maxing down at, I'd say like 11, 12 turns, reduces one enemy's HP by 10%, and it also will change his own slot and adjacent slots into tandem slots, which is quite nice. And then boosts the chain multiplier by 0.5 for 1 turn, and then if there are 3 or more Dex characters on the crew when you launch the special and then you hit 3 perfects, you will get a 1.1 chain boost in the following turn. So that's great. Like 1.1 chain boost is the highest chain boost you can get from any special in the game, and this is a new free-to-play unit that you have access to that can do that, which is great. His crewmate effect has the ability to treat tandem slots matching for Dex characters, which is pretty nice. But the really cool thing is if you use this guy under Sugo Fest exclusive Kid, for example, with his special ability chaining, the adjacent slots to tandem, when you have Kid as your captain, they're going to be swapped into bomb slots, which is quite good for him, right? So this unit is a pretty awesome unit, so make sure to get him done. Obviously, it is double skill up right now, so perfect opportunity to get him maxed out. And him and Otoko are going to be point boosters in the upcoming treasure map against Zorojuro, so I would highly suggest to make sure that you get these characters done within these next couple of days before the treasure map goes live, so you can build teams with them. Makes it a lot easier. So without further ado, let's get into the breakdown of Clash Soba Mask. Alright, so getting into the swing of things, I have 5 different teams for you guys in this video today. The first one, I wanted to go ahead and use Basil Hawkins, the brand new Sugo Fest exclusive, and this particular Clash is actually kind of built for both of the brand new Sugo Fest exclusives, because on stage 2 and on stage 3 there are mini boss both Usohachi and Franosuke, and whenever you kill them, they actually cut your health by 90%. So by using Basil Hawkins, every time you lose damage when you move on to a new stage, you get, however much damage you took, you heal 50% of it. And with double Basil Hawkins, you heal 100% of the damage you took. So it's able to, once you kill Usohachi and you kill Franosuke, you actually fully charge the Hawkins special, which obviously means that he's going to be a lot easier to use when you launch it a little bit later on in the fight. But then when you get to stage 4, that's when the stuff starts to really get difficult. So Trafalgar Law is the mini boss on stage 4, and he has a preemptive where he applies 7 turns of bind to your captains and your middle row characters. So you want to have a unit that reduces bind on your bottom row, and then also 4 turns of damage reduction is going to be on the enemy side of the field, and also you get a full board of badly matching slots. So this is where the brand new Otoko character is going to be very useful, because she removes essentially all the debuffs here. And if Law does not die on turn 1, he will apply a 2-turn end of turn damage buff where he cuts your health by 80%. So it doesn't really mean too much depending on the character that you're using. And then below 50%, Law will go ahead and apply normal attacks only, which obviously you don't want to happen. And he also gives you 3 turns of special reverse, so definitely don't get him below 50%. And then the final boss stage against Soba Mask himself. Soba Mask has 16 million health, and he starts off as a Dex character. However, he will become a quick character, obviously. For all of this content throughout this month, it's going to be mainly quick based, so that the new super type characters get, obviously the most usage out of that. But he also has a delay immunity, and then he'll apply 4 turns of attack down to your crew, and also blinds you for 2 turns, which obviously sucks, and then also special reverses your team by 1 turn. So you definitely want a character that can resist special reverse, and then reduce your character character's cooldowns. And then after turn 2, and every 2 turns afterwards, he applies a damage immunity buff, or whatever it's called. And then he also will give a difficult perfects as well. He buffs his attack after turn 2 as well. And below 40%, he actually will apply a 3-turn damage reduction. So any damage that is not dex is going to be reduced by a significant margin. And he also buffs his own attack. He then binds your captains as well, but binding the captains doesn't matter because you have someone like Cody Jones, for example, which is good, and it's fine. It's not really going to be that big of a deal. But below 20%, he does do a lot of death damage, and he also makes sure not to use any orb boosting effects because he will interrupt and remove them. The secondary team here is Legend Kaido. Now, Kaido is going to be one of the most MVP characters in this clash because he can just wipe the floor with every single stage here, which is great. There are obviously a few of the barriers that you have to take note of on stages 1 and 2. Stage 1 has perfect barriers. Stage 2 has dex slot barriers. So on this team here, we have Raid Cracker or Clash Cracker to give us a full board of dex orb, so we can just get around that with no problems. But there's going to be another team coming up a little bit later on that just gets through the barriers pretty effectively, so we'll go through that. Anyways, then you've got the Broskiis stage, and it's fine. Usopp is fine once you get through the barriers, and then against Trafalgar Law, that's where things get a little bit more tricky. But of course, if you've got double Kaido, both hits of Kaido plus the special damage of Kaido will completely destroy Law. But if you're using only one of your captains as Kaido, then just the Kaido's special damage and the captain will not work. It will fully kill him if you have double Kaido though. So make sure that if you are not using double Kaido, you obviously are able to, cut off a lot of his HP. And then the final boss stage is where we're able to launch all of our specials. So I'm actually using the new Rare Recruit Page 1. He's so good for this raid because he has the ability to resist special reverse, as well as reduce your dex and strength characters' cooldowns. And then he also removes the attack down. He removes the blind. He just removes all the debuffs on this final stage. It's so good. It actually kind of makes sense because it's, Page 1 versus Soba Mask. Makes a lot of sense. And then we've got Soba Mask, the Sugo Fest exclusive on my team to provide an attack boost and the full board of matching slots. And then obviously we've got the 2 specials of Kaido, which provide us with a 20% health cut each. And of course, by entering this stage, we also cut his health by 20%. So lots of health cuts, and with everything active here, we are able to take him down with all of the special damage left over. So that's really great. This is a really good team if you have the applicable characters to build. This is a really good team that I would probably suggest you build if you are looking for a team against Soba Mask. Now, the next team is a version 1 Snakeman team utilizing a friend Captain Kaido. As for the subs here, once again, we're using Otoko for all of her amazing effects on stage 4. We are also using this Colosseum Daifuku, who I don't use too often, but he has a fantastic special, which enables us to do damage through barriers, and it is dex damage. So any character that is a quick unit with a barrier just gets destroyed by the special ability of Daifuku. And we are using Perospero as well, amazing rare recruit, one of my favorite rare recruits in the game for the special cooldown reduction, as well as providing a health cut, and he also provides color affinity to our unit as well. Just such a good unit. And then we also have the Lucci and Kaku unit. Now this unit is very good because not only do they provide an attack boost, and also you can switch into Kaku to get type advantage with him being a dex character, but they have a really powerful crewmate effect, which states it's something along the lines of if your captain is a certain class, one of those classes being Powerhouse, he resists, I think it's all blindness or a pretty significant amount of remove SFX or blindness debuff. So with this, we can just avoid that altogether. And this team does not remove the attack down debuff once we reach the final stage, but with all of the specials active, we are actually able to take him down with the special damage and the captain effect of Sugo Fest exclusive Kaido as our friend captain here. And of course, because I mentioned briefly before that you're not allowed to use an orb boosting effect on the Soba Mask stage, that obviously is a big problem, but with Snakeman, we are obviously able to mitigate that because we can carry the orb boost into that stage. So we've got the orb boost, we have an attack boost, and then obviously that massive chain lock that we get given on stage 1 is quite an annoyance. But of course, if you have really powerful dex characters like what we do in a lot of these teams, that typically isn't going to be that big of an issue. But I'll leave you guys with the rest of this, and we'll move on to the next team. The second last team in this video, a massive shout out to the Shattered Fortress. He was the original creator of this team. This team is actually really freaking good, and I think it is the fastest team that I have in this video today. And it's really awesome, right? Because as we've already established on stage 2 and on stage 3, once you kill both Usohachi and Franosuke, you get your health cut by 90%. So we are able to abuse that by healing after we take the first health cut, so that we can take 2 massive health cuts, which overall will give V2 Katakuri a massive charge to his special ability when we launch it towards the end of the fight. And we are using Blackbeard as the main captain here because it enables our normal attacks to bypass the barriers, which does make it easier to clear the stages 1 and 2, of course. And then we are using Sugofest exclusive Arlong as well for his amazing damage, as well as his amazing support effect, which is going to be Sugofest exclusive Hody Jones. If you haven't maxed that support effect, then yeah, you need to get it maxed for this team to actually work. But essentially what it does is it attaches to that Arlong, and then when we reach the final stage, we are able to get all of our powerhouse characters 1 turn or 1 or 2 turns of special cooldown reduction, which is great, of course, because we do get special reversed on the final stage of Soba Mask. So we are able to launch our specials straight away without having to worry about stalling a turn to make sure that our specials are ready to go. And then on the final boss stage, all we need to do is use a Kaido special for a health cut, use V2 Katakuri, and then ensure that all of our tap damage is, good, great, or perfect. One of those 3, as long as you don't miss or anything, because then you won't get the tap timing bonus damage. So as long as it's a good, great, or perfect, the V2 Katakuri special damage is going to give you pretty much all the damage that you'll need in order to get through the rest of this fight. So a pretty awesome team. As I said, once again, massive shout out to the Shattered Fortress for building this team. It's pretty epic, actually. And then the final team of this video is going to be utilizing V2 Blackbeard, the super type Blackbeard, and also V3 Katakuri, super type Katakuri. And of course, I wanted to use these guys and see how they fared, and they do get through it pretty easy. One thing to note though, it is definitely not the fastest team in the world, but it does get the job done. With this team in particular, the way that it's working is we are going ahead and using Blackbeard's special for the second time against Franosuke, as you saw here. Prior to this clip starting, we did use it on stage 1 as well. We didn't use it against Usohachi, even though we probably could have for the first time, but either way, we used it for the second time there, and we will be using it here against the Trafalgar Law as well. We are going to be using the Komurasaki special twice, which gives us a pretty decent amount of healing, which means that we are able to stall 1 turn on this guy, which would ultimately mean that we can launch Blackbeard once again. And by launching Blackbeard this 3rd time, we get the 4 times attack and orb boost, and we can carry that into the next stage by utilizing the special ability of the V2 Clash Doflamingo, storing that orb and the 4 times attack and orb boost for the next stage. And then also on the final stage, we can use the chopper to remove the blindness, the attack down, and then we can also use Perospero to reduce everyone's cooldowns, and then we can use the Katakuri super type special and his special to get the conditional boost. Overall, just making sure that Blackbeard does the most amount of damage possible, and it is able to kill Soba Mask, which is great. But as I did mention, it's not the fastest team in the world, so I wouldn't really suggest using this team to farm it with, but it's just a proof of concept that it's really cool that these characters are still able to clear it. But that is going to wrap up this video today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure to get farming, max out Soba Mask, because he's going to be a boosted unit in the upcoming treasure map against Zorajiro, as is Otoko, who is also currently available on the event island, so make sure to get them both done. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.